Welcome to the Two Disabled Dudes podcast. We believe life is about how we react. I'm Kyle Bryant. And I'm Sean Bombsark. Together, we are constantly seeking opportunities to live beyond our circumstances. All right, welcome back. Kyle, what's going on, man?
Yo, Sean. All right, today I have a couple of things for you.
Is there ever a day where you don't?
No, that's why you love me, man.
Yeah, you're right.
The first thing is a life lesson.
Don't eat yellow snow.
A life lesson.
No.
That's actually, I mean, come on. There's nothing more valuable than that, baby.
All right, sorry.
No,
what's yours?
So, as you know, and as many of our listeners know, I just finished my book, and it does not get
more about his book.
It does not.
I'm sorry, I'm feisty today.
It releases
so yes,
on
you just
February 26th is the release date, but
nice.
It's printed. 5,000 copies have been printed, and 100 of them got sent to me. Cool. So I'm currently signing books and sending them to people who mean a lot to me and who've contributed a bunch to my story.
That's weird. I haven't opened.
Cross your fingers, man.
Yeah. Anyway, yes. So you're signing books as gifts?
Yeah. So I'm signing them and sticking them in the mail, which has been crazy because I've never mailed so much stuff in my life. But anyway, so I'm thinking of things to write in these books, just a couple little thought, whatever it is. Because these people mean a lot to me, and this book means a lot to me, and
so you're trying to make every note slightly different or unique,
right,
to the individual.
Some of them are the same, I have to admit, but but I'm writing everyone's name at the top, right? So it's a note to them.
Okay,
and I'm thinking about what to write, and I just have been noticing how grateful I am for the people in my life. I think we say that a lot, and it's a little bit cliche. Oh, I'm grateful for the people in my life. But when you sit down and really think about it, and all right, what would I say to this person to tell them how grateful I am? And it's seriously I had tears in my eyes at some points.
Oh, wow.
Obviously, for me, that's not a difficult thing to accomplish, me getting tears in my eyes. But, I rarely reflect that much on the people in my life that it brings me to tears. I don't know. I wasn't sitting there bawling or anything, but, it's a neat experience to be able to do that.
It's probably rewarding to reflect like that and kind of realize just how important people are in your life.
Yeah.
So overall, what's the lesson learned?
Well, I think the lesson is to look for opportunities to reflect on how grateful you actually are for the people in your life and the experiences. It comes out because of a book that took me 3 years to write. And maybe it shouldn't be that much of a production to be able to make that happen.
Sure. That's good. I like that. Thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely. All right. The second thing that I have for you, Sean, right now, I am going to reach into the mailbox. And I'm going to grab some listener feedback for you.
Now let's talk about the mail. Can we talk about the mail?
Well, in fact, this totally relates to that story. So I previously talked about the fact that I locked myself out of my apartment again.
More than once.
And so Nigel, a lot of listeners know Nigel from our listener appreciation episode that we did like a year ago, a little over a year ago. So after listening to the previous episode, he writes me an email and he says, I was tempted to send you information about keyless locks after your first experience on the podcast. He says, I was foolish enough to think that you would have figured it out, being an engineer and all. I'm like, oh, cool. He's at least giving me credit for my civil engineering degree, even though it's obviously gone to waste. But anyway, he gave me a link to an Amazon link, like selling like locks with keypads on them. And actually, I think I might do it.
You think you might do it? Take it from Nigel, bro. Do it. Like, get it done.
Yeah. So
that's amazing, Nigel. Thanks so much for calling Kyle out. I love the way you worded that.
I was foolish
enough to think. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
Anyway, I'll follow up on that.
That's a great way to start. I'll check in with you in a week or two because I know how easy it is to get stuff like that from Amazon.
Yeah.
So, don't give me excuses like, oh, it got held up in shipping. No, it doesn't happen these days.
Customs, man.
Maybe. All right, Kyle. The point of today's episode, actually, I'm gonna set it up. We thought we'd just get on the horn today, or on the microphone, and air some grievances. We take issue with some basic things in our world today, and we just kind of wanted to maybe have a little fun today, but also just complain a little bit. And I think we've done this before, haven't we? Was there a whole episode of it, or is it just a little clip?
I don't know. I don't know if that was just one of our conversations that we've had together, or if it was actually recorded. Because we complain a lot to each other.
Well, we're going to record this one. So,
all right.
With that in mind, Kyle, do you want to kick us off, or do you want me to?
Sure. All right. This is one that I want to know if you experience the same thing, because it pisses me off to no end. Oh my gosh. So you're typing on your phone, right? And then you go back to edit something. So you put the cursor like in the middle of the sentence, and then you start typing. And it freaking types at the end of the sentence. Oh my gosh, that pisses me off. And it pisses me off because why would it do that? I can't, please, if someone knows a good reason why it would do that, let me know. And so I was like, oh, maybe this is just a glitch in the system. It'll work better with my new update, right? No. It's been like that for like 3 years or something. Yep. What is with that?
You know, I've had the problem with that cursor thing since, like you, I use an iPhone, probably like a lot of listeners do. When they started doing like 2D touch or pressure, the difference in pressure to it executes a different function. I hate that. Drives me nuts. Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
And I'll figure it out as I go. But don't make it something it shouldn't be.
Right, yeah. Like when they started putting that scent with slam effect or like happy birthday with the balloons and stuff, I was like, no.
Okay, those are cool. I kind of like that.
But
that's cool.
At first I couldn't figure out how to not do it, so everything I sent was with slam effect.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Anyway, so that's
you were angry every time for like a month.
Yeah,
I trying to get the point across.
I hated my phone.
Yeah, it's hard to know what the right amount of pressure is for some of those features, and it drives me nuts. I'm with you on that.
All right, good. Thank you.
Let's see. Maybe we'll clarify here. We're kind of complaining about overall big picture things. We're not, making fun of Kyle's dad or anything specific. So one of my biggest ones. This has been a pet peeve. I'll for years, but it seems to have been making itself visible again lately.
Yeah.
I can't stand when drivers get on the freeway going 30 miles an hour. Like, dude, you are getting on the freeway where everybody else is going 60 to 80 miles an hour. Like, put your foot on the gas and go.
Look around.
It's dangerous. People are like, I'm just trying to be safe. No, you're trying to get yourself killed or somebody else. Like, you've got to merge and at the speed of traffic, not at the speed of 30.
And so, Sean, is this an ageist comment? Like, are the people usually older than like 70 years old? Or
No. From what I can tell, it's all over the spectrum. Young, old, different, just all types of drivers. It drives me nuts. So and the same is true. People start slowing down like a mile and a half before the exit. They're slowing down to exit speed. Like, no, you have an entire off ramp for that. You have an entire on ramp. That's exactly what the on ramp is for.
Yeah. So
use the on ramp.
So what do you do when that happens? Do you stick your hand out the door and give them a good shake, like a fist shake or anything?
I can't say that I've ever stuck my hand out the window. But I certainly talk to myself in the car.
Yeah.
But I always look to see what kind of person is driving so I can, judge them internally.
Yeah, give them a little stink eye maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
So drivers that entered the freeway going 30 miles per hour.
Yeah, utilize the on-ramp appropriately, and everybody will get along just fine.
All right. So this one has been happening to all of us more and more lately. I hate robocalls. Oh, my gosh. Robocalls cause me to miss important calls because whenever my phone rings, I just figure it's probably a robocall because I'm not very popular. I don't get very many phone calls.
I was going to say, I don't get important phone calls, so I'm happy to get the robocalls. Sort of.
So I ignore it, and then all of a sudden, it's actually a call that I should have picked up, So, and also, like, I know it's the same with a lot of people. So I used to live in Sacramento, but now I live in Philadelphia, outside of Philadelphia. So whenever the call is from the 916 area code, I know it's a robocall. I never pick those up. So if I don't have your number and you're from the 916 area code, you better send me a text before you call because I'm not picking the phone up.
That's the way to do it. I just moved, as you know, and now a lot of listeners know. I recently relocated, still in Sacramento, but I think moving automatically puts you in a bunch of different solicitation systems.
Yeah.
So I've been getting a lot of robocalls lately, and the most frequent is from Kathy. And the message is like,
Hey, it's Kathy again, and I'm calling you about your student debt, Sean. Actually, she doesn't even say my name. Let me help you. You need to call this number, and you need to call right now, and you need to do something. Act fast, or the IRS is going to come get you, and the police are going to... You know what, Kathy? Leave me alone. I don't know you, and I'm pretty sure I don't have student debt these days.
And now I don't like you.
Yeah, now you're the worst human being in the world.
No, I get calls about remortgaging my house all the time, and I haven't owned a house since 2011.
Yes, I love it.
That's awesome.
Let's see. So Kyle and I have a list, and I'm reading some of the stuff I added to the list, and I'll share another one. It's, a lot of my pet peeves in life have to do with the restroom. Like my bathroom at home, bathrooms at the gym or work, just whatever. Like my OCD, if you will, kicks in with the restrooms more than anything else or anywhere else. First of all, I can't stand a wet bathroom floor. To me, it just signals liquids that shouldn't be on the floor. Like, I don't automatically assume it's water puddles. If there's any drop of liquid, automatically I'm like, oh, the dog was in here or somebody missed it,
Yeah, you automatically, yep, exactly.
It's not water. It's never water. I never take my chance there. So anyway, I use a public gym pretty frequently and go straight from work, and so I change in the locker room. I don't use the shower at the gym because that's gross to me. So I just change, and I've seen it on a regular basis. A lot of people, swim and shower and use the hot tub, and that's cool. It's fine. Great. Good for them. And they come into the locker room, they're barefoot, which is disgusting in the locker room, and it's even worse when the guys that are barefoot go into the urinal area to use the restroom. Like, automatically, I'm just, like, I want to throw up. That is so disgusting to me. I know it has nothing to do with me, but I'm looking at them like, bro, your feet are going to fall off eventually if you don't put your shoes on. The public restrooms, especially at the gym, or true of any public restroom, they're always wet. They're never dry.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, the wetness is not water. And it's not a little bit. It's a hot freaking mess of nastiness. And you got some dude standing in it just doing his thing at the urinal. That's disgusting to me. I won't shake hands with that person, nor would I ever hang out with them.
Wow, this runs deep, man. This really gets you.
I can't be friends with that person.
Oh, awesome. Well, dude, I talked about my rowing machine. One of the best things, perhaps the best thing about the situation of actually having one at home is I row, for 25 minutes in the morning. I'm super sweaty when I get off the rowing machine, and I go and get in my own shower. And it's just right there. You know what I mean? I don't feel like get in the car and drive home or whatever. Yeah. I just jump right in the shower. Oh my gosh, it's so nice. You should try it.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the invite.
All right. So my next one is no one's fault, and maybe it's not even that funny, but I just can't stand it. And you don't experience this very often, but it's 10 degrees outside, and you gotta pump gas. Oh my gosh, how annoying is that? You stick the gas pump in the thing, and you got to, I guess you can get back in the car, but I mean, that means like, I mean, I'm sitting in my wheelchair by the gas pump, you know, and it's not like, it doesn't make sense to get back in the car.
Sure.
So I'm
by the time
chilling
you get
there.
back in, it's time to get out again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, and it's freezing cold, and just pumping gas doing nothing. Oh my gosh, it really annoys me. So I like wait till my gas gets on like super E before I pump gas, which is not good. But yeah.
All the more reason to move back to California.
Yeah, that actually, so I don't have to pump gas in the cold.
So you don't have to worry about the snow. Isn't it true though? If you want help or need help, you can get assistance as long as there are at least 2 attendants. At least I know that's true in California.
That ideally, I think they would say that. First of all, there's probably hardly ever 2 people in the store.
Yeah, good point.
Second of all, I really don't think they care. And like, I'm fine with that, but
Sure.
but like I don't blame them. I'm not mad at them for that.
Yeah.
So I just kind of deal with it.
All right. You know, I'm gonna throw in one more story before we wrap this ridiculous episode up.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have one more. Go ahead.
No. By the way, I was just curious how this relates to overcoming circumstances. What do you think, Sean?
I think it's a great example of all the crap we deal with every day. You know, you've got to decide to rise above the barefoot man in the bathroom. You've got to decide to rise above the 30-mile-an-hour driver.
Yeah.
I think it's very relevant to the overall theme of our show.
Yeah, actually, I think you're right, because all of these things, like, yeah, we're making fun of them, but they really honestly are annoying. And you could get pissed and like in a bad mood because of all these things, or you could just laugh about it.
Yeah. If you're not careful, it'll derail your day or, you know, put you in a funk for a few minutes or a couple hours. So, in fact, that reminds me, our episode of Funk Busters, that was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, now I forget what was my story. Oh, this one. So I mentioned I moved recently, so I got one more related to moving. When I moved, I had to, you know, relocate or transfer my utility stuff. And in my previous place, I did not use PG&E. PG&E is, you know, the gas and electric on the West Coast or California, whatever. I don't know where they're at. I use SMUD. SMUD is a local municipality that does power or
Sacramento
whatever.
Municipal Utility District.
Thank you. Yes, you're correct. Anyway, the new place requires both, and I got to utilize both. So I called PG&E for the first time ever, and was like, "Hey, I'm setting up service," and it was actually kind of nice. Their entire setup was automatic. I never spoke to an individual. Now, sometimes that's frustrating, but it was easy. They made it easy, and they were like, "Okay, new service. Enter your address, enter the zip code, enter the apartment number, enter this, that, and the other, and what's your social?" And it was just super easy, and they were like, "Okay, you're set. Service will start on day X." So it was fine. At the end of the phone call, they were like, "If you need your account number or confirmation email, press this button to be transferred to a person where they confirm everything and they email you." So, of course, I push that button because I've got to prove that I have PG&E. And I get a service unrelated to PG&E. So it's a third party. But their entire job is to sell me more crap.
Oh,
and by crap, I mean, you know, renter's insurance and home security systems and pictures of a dog that I put in the window and I don't know, a bunch of other garbage. So I'm, listening to all this and I say, no, I don't need it. So they're trying to sell cable and TV and internet. So on one, the lady was like, oh, we have a, special with AT&T and Dish Network right now. Do you want to do it? And I'm like, nope. She goes, okay, well, do you want to do this? And I said, nope, don't need it. And she eventually was like, so you don't want cable or internet? And I said, nope. She goes, what are you going to do for entertainment? And I'm like, don't worry about it. Yeah. I don't want it.
I'm really nosy and...
Yeah, exactly.
And I want to control your life.
She was great at her job, but I simply just said, I'm not interested in anything but my confirmation of service with PG&E. So eventually, we get to the end. She takes my email, and we bid each other goodbye. Well, I never got the email.
Oh.
So I call PG&E, and I get an operator, a real person. I work through the steps. I get a real person. I'm like, hey, I never got that email. Can you help me? She goes, oh, no, we only do emails through that third-party service.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, I went through the whole 20-minute sales pitch with her. A, I don't want to do that again. And B, what do you mean you can't just hit a button and send me an email? After all, I'm paying you guys to manage my service.
Right.
So... Of course, she began to ask these ridiculous questions. Now, I've always been a fan that there's no such thing as a stupid question. I think there are questions worth making fun of, but, it's fair to ask any kind of question. Except, now I believe that rude and condescending questions should never be asked. Those are stupid.
Yeah, the intent behind the question,
Not cool. So she asked me, well, did you talk to these people? And I said, yes, I listened to their whole pitch. Then she asked, well, did you give them an email to email you at? And of course, I'm like, what the do you think? Yes, I gave them an email. You know what she asked me next?
What?
Did you give them the correct email? So I'm like, no, actually, I gave them the wrong email. Was that? Oh, shoot! I was supposed to give them the right email. I was so frustrated with her questioning. So my grievance today on that one is don't ask condescending questions. It's just not okay.
Yeah, and if it's on the line, if you think it might be, you got to figure out a way to phrase it so it's not.
Yeah, confirm my email if you need to. Anyway, I was quite frustrated, and right now I'm getting worked up because of it.
All right. Well, maybe that signals the fact that we should probably end this conversation, Sean.
Your decision. I've given 3, so if you got another one, go for it.
Yeah, no, I think maybe we'll save a few for next time. But this has been fun, and it's fun to make fun of these things. I keep saying the word fun, but it's nice to make fun of these things instead of having them fester in your mind and become something that affects your mood or your life or your day, whatever it is. So
you know what's coming to mind right now is just talking about it and laughing about it. Actually, I think it helps me realize just how minor these things are in life. Yeah. Sure, they're frustrating in the moment, but in the big scheme of things, I mean, we got people to love and people to help and bills to pay. Like this stuff is minor, so don't sweat the small stuff, I guess. Just make fun of it.
You know what? That brings me back to the original premise of this podcast. Just the two of us wanting to talk about our disabilities, because that totally takes the power away from it. Like, obviously, it's a terrible thing, disability. But if you talk about it with someone else, you realize that it's just another part of life, and it's something that we can get through together. And there's actually a different point to life than just surviving your disability or your day, whatever your circumstances are.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
Just to focus on that purpose rather than the difficulty behind it.
Sure. I think our recent episode with Gabriel, the guy that rolled across country in his wheelchair, he made the point to say his life wasn't destroyed, it was just altered. Right. And I love the way he worded that, and the concept of just figuring out how to move forward in the midst of the altercation, and figuring out how to move forward in the midst of just stupid, little, silly, frustrating things is important. And that's true at any level. So cool. Well, I do want to ask our listeners if they have anything that, might fall in the category of silly but important and frustrating. Shoot us an email or tag us on Facebook with your grievance, and maybe in a few months or down the road, we'll put together another list and air some grievances on your behalf. So feel free to reach out to us however you like.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Sean. We will wrap this up, and I'll talk to you next time.
Yeah, have a good day, man. Thanks,
right,
guys, for listening. Thank you for listening to the Two Disabled Dudes podcast.
Find us online at twodisableddudes.com, and please subscribe on the iTunes. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Special thanks to our production team, Jake Tompkins and Matt LaFleur.
Until next time, keep living with urgency.